That's the worst thing when it comes to time management because you don't really want to stop that role play.
My opinion.
It's like 80% of the game.
I rather play in a campaign like that fizzles out than complete a campaign that doesn't have it.
Yeah. Same.
I just like living in the world. I actually don't value a DM with very strong time management skills. I don't care because I like being at the table and just role playing the whole time.
You heard it here, folks. Sov says time management.
Yeah, you know what? The moral of this topic is
everything that we said in this episode, just forget about it.
Time management's bullshit. Lend your players every moment of session time. Play 12-hour sessions. Live in the world.
And this will show everybody why it takes us 5 to 6 hours to record a 2.5-hour show. Because we're bad at time management. We don't like it.
It's not even that we're bad at it. We don't like it. We don't want to manage time. We want the fucked up time management. Welcome to Take the Damage podcast by Unfortunate Ones. I'm Sov.
And I'm Greythorn. And
before we get into our topic, last time we talked about, and I wanted to bend your ear on, encumbrance. In general, with the games that you play, with whatever games you play, 5e or your version of it, how do you deal with encumbrance?
It's kind of like I use the 5th edition rules in a sense.
So just wait.
Yeah.
And then wait affecting like what, Dex and...
Well, it's a bit of a hybrid, I think, between 5th edition and AD&D 2e, of course. But when it comes to like actually doling out what is encumbrance, I use the 5th edition optional encumbrance rules where it's based off your strength. So, everything has a weight value.
Yeah.
And then I have on my character sheets 2 sections. One is things that you carry in a pack and things that you carry on your person.
Sure.
So, you're encumbered when you're carrying your satchel and then you drop it and now you're unencumbered.
Yeah, containers. Containers are separate weights. But I mean, the containers, if you're carrying the container, counts against your carried weight.
Yeah, so when you are encumbered, I have lightly and then encumbered and heavily. And when you're lightly encumbered, you lose a dex and you lose 5 feet of movement. When you're encumbered, you lose 2 dex, 10 more feet of movement. And
10 more feet of movement.
10 more feet. Yeah. And realistically, this is only going to happen if you're traveling.
Okay.
Or if you are ambushed, I guess.
Well, so D&D 5e, I believe, what is it, like you move at half movement and have disadvantage on stealth or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. If you were playing 5e, how would you handle that with your party? Or would you do that?
In what way?
Because like a big part of what we talked about is how lame that is and how annoying it is to track and not actually that big of a deal. So most people ignore the encumbrance rules.
Yeah. I really like the idea of like, some more survival-y type stuff. So
that's a lot of what we talked about, which we could talk about in the post show, what me and Nix went over, but yeah, we agree.
Yeah, I like the more survival-y type stuff, so you can't just load up on everything you find in a dungeon and walk out of it like normal, just,
Well, my general stance is whatever is at DM discretion within reason to hold on your person. So I don't actually track weight. I just you can't have 20 daggers in your hands. Like, where are you holding these things?
Yeah. I mean, I just assume that everybody has some sort of pack, some sort of, large satchel bag that they carry around.
Sure.
So if they ever need to store something, it's in there.
Yeah.
And like I said before, I have 2 slots. I have 2 sections on my character sheets, my custom character sheets that says like, this is in your bag, this is on your person.
Do you know off the top of your head, how does Delta Green, we were curious about this, handle encumbrance? Or does it care?
I'm not sure if it does. I think it's also kind of like within reason.
Yeah, just don't be a dick.
Like if you're carrying an extra 100 pounds, sure, it's going to be hard for you to move normally. But I don't think there is really a section for encumbrance. At least I don't remember there being one. It's been a while since I've read the entire rule book front to back.
Yeah, fair enough. You only ever do that once.
Yeah.
And how often does encumbrance come up?
And even then, movement is like, you can move 20 meters in a turn of combat.
Yeah.
So it's all sort of, it's a little bit more narrative based when it comes to certain things, especially movement. Kind of like
Fair enough.
World of Darkness. It's like, oh, can I run from, across the street to over there in this turn of combat? It's like, yeah, sure, you can do that. You're a vampire. You can make it.
It's fine.
Can I do that while I'm carrying 300 pounds of stuff? No, you can't do that. I'll say you can make it halfway.
It's the only time that I ever care about encumbrance is when I have a player being like, and I pick up the moose and I'm taking it back to camp. And it's like, are you?
Yeah, it's a 1,700 pound beast.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not doing that. Even if you're hunting like
But my
a
strength
deer.
score is 18. Yeah. You're also a medium creature with a strength score of not 30. So I don't care.
Yeah.
All right. Today's topic for today. 19. Time management. Which there's a couple things to talk about with time management. Managing your prep time as a DM. We don't need to talk about that.
There's prep time.
Just improv the whole thing, baby.
I just
We'll
show
do
up
it
and
on the
start
day.
writing things on notepads.
Yeah. No, I imagine like managing session time, but also in-game time management. Like if your players are wasting time doing something, or if you feel like, oh, this should take this much time to get from point A to point B, but your players are just interested in point B.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like just in general, in-game time management. I don't know how you deal with some of those things.
So I know that there's like a basic sort of rule of thumb when it comes to managing time in game. It's like if you're doing
Is
something...
there? Because I'm bad at it, so I'd love to hear it.
There is. And I'm pretty sure it's in the 5th edition book as well. It might be in the DMG, not the player handbook, but the DMG itself. It's like if you're having a conversation with a person, you count that in real time. That's all real time stuff.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I do that.
Mm-hmm. If you're traveling from town to town, like speeding through role play to like, oh, I want to go to this shop and that shop and that shop, you do increments of like 15 to 30 minutes. If you're doing long periods of travel, then like depending how far it is, then it's like hours to half days, stuff like that.
Yeah. In general, my rule of thumb is like a person, because I remember looking this up for G&G, but for travel, I think like a person can travel for like eight hours in a day or something like that. And the rest of it is like you need breaks. You can't just travel forever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't recall ever reading those rules about time increments, but yes, I totally agree with like anything that is said in character is happening, air quotes, in real time. If you are giving a monologue and it takes 30 seconds, 30 seconds have passed in game.
Mm-hmm.
What about like controlling time as a DM? Like from a DM standpoint, managing to make sure that like your session is a good session and not a wasted session. Because like I know like for G&G, we didn't give a fuck because it was a home table with our friends and you guys genuinely spent 4 hours planning something you never did.
Yeah.
And we just didn't care.
Yeah.
But, you know.
The best waste of time.
The best waste of time. Yeah. But like, I know for sure the games that I play online, especially because I get paid to play, like I try and make sure that the session is satisfying to at least some degree and not too much time is wasted. But it's difficult to accomplish. I don't know. How much do you even focus on that? Or do you play more like our home table plays?
I play more like the home table. To me, my philosophy is that while I'm controlling the world, the players are controlling their own time. Like if players want to sit and chat in an inn and make fun of each other for the things that they've done or the things that they do or the things that they are, I'll just let them go until there's a lull in the conversation. And once that's over, it could have been like 40 minutes of them just planning or talking about what they're doing or making fun of some guy for testing if he could cut his arm off in the middle of town and then reattach it back home. And I'll let them do that.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, if it's interesting for sure. But like sometimes it's not that interesting. Sometimes there's RP that is happening that is dragging out that isn't that interesting, especially if it's like not everybody at the table is participating.
Mm-hmm.
If you have 4 players and 2 of them are RPing about nothing, like the grain of the wood of the table at the inn that they're in.
Yeah, at that point, I'm going to try to roll things along a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, yeah, you guys have this conversation about, wood and carpentry and stuff. And oh, look, there's a thing over there. I'll try to move things along. But
the biggest thing that I think that I do to try and make people realize that they're spending too much time, and I'm like, okay, while you guys are talking about that, Gray, what are you doing? Like, just move to someone else at the fucking table.
Yeah, I do that too sometimes.
Yeah, it's like, well, you guys are just wasting time talking about nothing. So I'm going to pull over here and we're going to deal with this person.
Yeah, I'll try to find a player who might have a bit more of a directed interest and be like, so while they're talking about this, how does that make you feel? Blah, blah, blah. And
I usually go with reactions. Like, while this is happening, how is Gray reacting? Assuming Gray is the character's name. How is Gray reacting? What face is Gray making? What is Gray thinking about in this moment or whatever? If they're at the if they're at location but not participating, and if they're somewhere else, it'll just be like, so Gray, what are you doing?
Yeah. Sometimes though it will backfire and like, oh, apparently this person really likes listening to this conversation about the grain of the wood at their table.
But if that's true and everybody's happy,
yeah, then it's fine. Now
who cares? Why move on?
They could just keep talking.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I think for planning, one thing that I want to try for now on, or actually arguments as well, especially in character arguments, when as the DM you start seeing them going bad, or people are talking in circles, or blah blah blah, and it's just like, people are trying to stay in character, and the trying to stay in character is wasting too much time. I think I might start moving things above table, where it's like, okay, as you guys continue to talk about this with your character's various perspectives, I would like to pull it above table, where you guys can talk about it a little bit more openly, so that we can deliberate on what we are doing next. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Without it being like, because oftentimes you try to do it in character, and then there's weird things that come up where it's like, well, my character would never be into this plan, but as a player, I don't care. But if we have to do it in character, then I have to express from the point of view of my character, or be silent. I have to either be silent or express from the point of view of my character that I'm not into it, blah, blah, blah. And then it just kind of hangs up conversations that don't really need to happen. And like, we could be off on an adventure right now.
Well, I mean, I think our affinities for certain types of play, or like how things run, are just too different in that regard. Because if there are 2 people planning a thing, and the third character isn't into it, and their character isn't into it, but they as a player they might be into it, or they just don't care either way.
Yeah.
Then I would try to promote that character to just join in the conversation and be like, hey, yeah, I don't like this plan. This is a bad idea.
Yeah. I think it's when it becomes argumentative. For me, I feel like that's where it feels like a genuine argument. Like when it starts to feel like the players are arguing.
The players are arguing instead of the characters themselves.
Yeah. Then I think that's when it's like, hey, let's bring it above table then.
Maybe.
Because oftentimes, like I say all of these things about time management because I think it's an interesting topic, but for the most part, I absolutely just let my fucking players role play until the clock runs out.
Yeah, but I like it when there's strife in my party. So
that's fair, I guess.
It's interesting.
Well, you also play with people that you've been playing with for a long time.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think, I don't know. There's a couple of things that I'm trying to work on in terms of time management, because I finally started watching other people who run D&D games. And for the most part, I'm just watching it because, it's enjoyable. But I have noticed it's like, man, like, this is someone that does the deep RP thing that I do. But also their story moves? Weird. Because I too am perfectly comfortable. Just like, if everybody's happy, if all 4 of my players are happy, RPing for an hour straight and they're satisfied, and it doesn't bother me. But what bothers me is the back end, because like sometimes we'll talk about it and they love those moments. They love those hour-long roleplay sessions. But on a whole, outside of the campaign, thinking about the campaign, I have heard people talking like, oh yeah, I just, we haven't really gotten a lot done. Or we haven't done these things or moved over here and blah, blah, blah. Like the RP's great. The storytelling's great. The world building's wonderful. Everything is enjoyable, but I'd like the story to move a little bit faster. And it's like, yeah, that's actually pretty reasonable. Like you could be having a good time and for it to still be managed poorly.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to get better at that. We actually talked about it on the last podcast. I was watching Critical Role's Age of Umbra, their Daggerheart thing. And I noticed it immediately. I've already talked about it on the podcast, but just for the sake of this conversation and bringing you into it. Oh no, you were part of that, weren't you?
I don't remember.
Anyways, they're having a conversation about what to do. They're having their planning session, and then it comes to a natural end. And then Matt Mercer's like, I'll do this really quick, but Matt Mercer's like, cool. It doesn't take long for you to get approval to do this mission.
Oh yeah, and then it's like, you walk out the gates, and then you hit the mountains.
Yeah, he just beautifully narratively drives the party past travel to arrive at location in a great way, with little tidbits of them participating, but not playing. He never hands the reins over to the players, and I'm trying to get better at that because I always hand reins over to the players. Like, you guys are having your conversation. It comes to a natural end. Cool. What are you guys doing? We're leaving the bar. Where are you going? You know what I mean, Lance? It's like all of this purposeless stuff.
Yeah, you show up at town and you have a thing that you're supposed to do here, but what are you guys doing? And then someone might go somewhere completely off the rails.
Yeah. Especially if they've already deliberated that they're going straight to the local tavern or whatever. Sometimes it's okay not to make an investigation check and just drag them to the tavern. Because more play gets to happen if you do that. Mm-hmm. Like intentional, purposeful play.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about travel. How do you do travel? How often do you do travel?
Well, in my last long form campaign, there was a lot of travel between the two same places. They were like 3 days away from each other.
I would do that once and then time skip the travel.
Well, I had to not time skip it because there were things going on in the background. Like,
oh, that's different.
They were supposed to escort somebody to someplace, and then that person died, and the people who are trying to kill that person don't know that the person's dead, so they're still looking for them, and all they know is that there's supposed to be a noble woman there, and one of those players fits the bill for being a noble woman. So like, as long as you guys travel back and forth and you're still in the noble's attire, you're being hunted.
Yeah.
So I kind of have to be like, all right, till you figure this out, I gotta do this the entire way. So
that's funny.
Yeah. Generally, when it comes to like long form travel, I'm trying to do this thing where I break it up into 3 sections. Like no matter how far it is, every day we'll have like 3 sections. You have the morning, afternoon, and then like evening before nighttime.
Of each day of travel?
Yeah.
So you really hardcore do travel?
Yes.
Play through it?
Yeah. I make sure, they have supplies. I make sure that they have inventory of, their things. I make sure that they have to take care of their horses or whatever, their ox or whatever. And I just, break down travel and it's like, all right, so there's 3 potential encounters a day. I'm rolling 3 times, and they're all going to happen in the various, phases of the daytime. So,
I do a minimum of 2 events. I wouldn't say a minimum of 2. Probably a minimum of 2 events, but the events can be minimal. So, like one of them, a campfire, and I usually do that on the first night. So it doesn't matter where you're going or how far it is. We play that first day of travel. We go through the day. I narratively describe what the first day looks like the environments that you pass through and all of those things, until it gets time to set up camp. And then I turn it over to active play, and we do the camp. And people can participate as much as they want to and set up a watch and protect the camp if they want to, whatever they want to do, or if it's a safe place, even if it's a peaceful place. Then they can, make the campfire or whatever. And then sometimes they want to do a campfire moment and they RP or whatever. And I want to do that because it sets the precedence. What I do is I use that to set the precedence of the rest of the travel. So let's say nothing happens in the night. they play through maybe 30 minutes of play of the first day of travel in the camp. And then I use that to describe the rest of the travel. That's the purpose of it, right? And then usually I want one encounter. It doesn't have to be combat by any means, but just something happens on the road. They should never be the only thing on the road. Otherwise, what's the purpose of it? And then one thing I've done recently that I really enjoyed, that doesn't take much time at all, is force air quotes campfire moments, not necessarily at a campfire, where it would be like, so we did the first day, you got the campfire moment, we did the encounter, and then there's still like another week of travel or whatever. And I will use those first two encounters to describe what travel is like from that point forward and the change of environments, blah, blah, blah. And then it'll be like, on the fourth day, as you are traveling, this, Ace needs a little bit of rest. So, Grey, you switch seats and take the reins of the cart to, get the horse going. And as you take that seat, sitting in the passenger seat is Nyx. Nyx, based on the environment that I've described, what's going through your mind? What are you doing? Blah, 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 blah. And then get one of the two players to say anything at all. Doesn't matter. And then turn to the other player and be like, Grey, you notice this. And even if they don't decide to RP in that moment, there's still been a moment. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it feels like they are traveling together and growing together, whatever. And I usually try to do at least every player gets one of those moments or some combination. So if there's 6 players, maybe I'll do 3 of them. So 2, 2, and 2. And while you guys are taking a rest, blah, 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 you go off to, walk the perimeter or whatever. Give me a random roll. Cool. You come back with a bunch of bunnies, and the only person at camp at the moment is Grey. As Grey, you see him coming back with the bunnies. What do you guys do? Just to give those a little bit of moments so it feels like you guys are actually traveling. It feels grounded and real. And those little instances only take 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. Not like you're eating the whole session time to do so, but you're getting play and activity and interest and grounding while traversing large spans of land. I feel like it just makes it more interesting, and it makes it feel like you actually traveled somewhere instead of just being like, I go to Stonefist. Okay, you're at Stonefist now. And there was like no character development, no, you know what I mean? Like you can't be out on the road and not have moments with people. It just doesn't happen. Go on a camping trip for a week and tell me you're not going to have a memory of a moment with one of those people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Unless you get one of those, weird parties where everyone's kind of a lone wolf.
That's been, yeah. I have that currently. And yeah, but I still do it to a small degree. I wouldn't do the pairing thing anymore. Mm-hmm. But at that point, I would still do at least the 2, the encounter and the campfire.
Yeah.
Because even under the circumstances of like your party getting used to it, they like even them not role playing, it's fine. Cool. You guys set up camp. You do your watch. You do your rolls. Takes 5 minutes. Boom. But it gives you, if they're not doing the role play, it's like, okay, this trip is going to be a quiet one. And I will describe it now over the course of the 3-day journey as that, because that's what you chose to do on that, in the moment where you could have role played, you didn't show interest in your fellow players or your fellow party, or this has become a mundane activity that you guys wouldn't sit there and just yabber on about nothingness. Cool. That's fine. That sets the precedence for the journey. And then I use that as a description of like, you travel for another day. Here are the environments that you pass through. You set up another camp, blah, 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 sets up defenses while blah, blah, blah cooks. You guys set up watches throughout the night. You wake up the next day, ready to go. Would anybody like to do anything? No? Cool. You continue on. as you pass through the mountains and blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? You just use it as a precedence that's been set for travel.
Yeah. It's like every time you guys go off in a place, it's going to be like this.
Yeah. It also, if you switch up when the campfire moment happens, it doesn't spoil when a combat encounter happens on the road. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
As you're traveling through. Also, that's another great one. Landmarks. It doesn't mean anything, but just have your characters roll and just fuck it. Make it easier on yourself. Have everybody make a perception check. The highest check is the one that notices off in the distance the abandoned tower and describes the tower and in a mysterious way or whatever. They don't need to interact with it or anything like that. But you're doing two things. One, you're making the travel feel more interesting than it is, because travel is not interesting. And two, you're making them make checks, which again, when you want to throw a random encounter at them, it's not a spoiler where it's if the only time you're making players check is when something bad happens, then it becomes a spoiler for bad things happening.
Well, that's why sometimes you just roll dice.
Oh, yeah.
You just hear dice coming through my mic. And it's like, oh, God, what is he doing? I'm like, oh, no, nothing. Can someone make me a perception check? Don't worry about it. It's fine. It's fine. Well, anyway, you continue traveling. You don't notice anything. Nothing out of the ordinary. Sometimes. Just got to break it up with a little fear.
Just got to break it up with a little bit of fear. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, there's cool things that you could do with travel. But oftentimes... Our lights just went out. Oftentimes, travel is peaceful, and therefore a lot of people think it's wise to just pass over it. Mm-hmm. And I think making it feel good or feel important is more fun. I think especially like if my group does the same trip twice, I would probably just do the campfire moment. And that's it. So like, yeah, we're only going to spend 30 minutes.
Yeah, I've learned to
session time.
If you're traveling back and forth from the same place, to cut down a little bit.
Yeah.
Just do the encounter rules to yourself. And if you feel like one of those rules is interesting, just pop it out and just be like, hey, you see a lone kobold with one of those big samurai hats walking about. Mm-hmm. And that's it.
Yeah. That's the whole thing. But there should be some interest.
Yeah.
And then when it's dangerous grounds to be traveling, well then you just play through it.
Yeah. Of course.
Are you taking the main road? Yeah. And then they just hear a bunch of dice roll.
Are those group of people out there bandits or merchants?
Love it. All right. I think this is a good time for us to roll on our loot table for our sponsors.
Yeah. Here we go. Come on, everybody. Let's get hyped.
Let's go and roll.
Yeah.
On the loot table. Let's go and see who our sponsors will be.
Come on. Let's go.
Let's go roll on the loot table.
All right. Today's sponsor is a 1. That would be Siren Stage. And I'm looking out at you, 2024 D&D 5e dance bards here. That's who I'm looking at. Are you looking for a platform to present your performances? Are you looking for somewhere that cultivates an experience where people come to you to subscribe and give you a few gold pieces every month to watch you take pictures of your feet? Enjoy Siren's Call, or Siren Stage. Siren Stage is, as it sounds, a stage for sirens and bards and maybe even a performing monk every now and then to put together various forms of entertainment and put it out to the world, but behind the veil of paywalls. And whether you yourself are the performer or you just are an audience member who just wants a good halfling foot picture sent your way through the magic of wizard scrying, I guess. You can pay your local wizards, being the in-between, to open up a visual portal to your favorite entertainers. Or if you yourself are an entertainer, you can conspire with wizards to have portals opened up to you as you present and perform yourself. And if you're someone that likes presenting yourself, Siren Stage is the platform for you. I mean, great. I feel like you have a couple Siren Stage subscriptions.
Few elves. Few elves here and there. Not a lot, because they all do the same thing over and over again.
Just
you gotta
sit in a trance meditating.
You gotta hold off on your silvers a little bit every once in a while and just wait for them to put out something good. But then, they got this stupid resubscribe, follower, private scrying options that they do now. And it's like, no, you're just missing out.
Yeah, that is true. Well, also, oftentimes you don't get a preview, right? So you hear the name of, your local bard, and there are claims to what their content might be, but there's no preview. And then you pay, and then it turns out it's an elven bard who's just sitting there in an elven trance for 4 hours straight, doing nothing. And boom, you're out 17 gold.
Sometimes you find one that's like, this is the same thing they post on Message. It's just the same set. It's just one extra picture.
It's just one extra picture.
Just one extra, bauble. And sometimes, you look at it and it's like, I'd rather go and just buy that one, I'd rather go get free access to that one wizard's hoard of scrying orbs that he's totally acquired legally and not have pirated them.
Well, the convenient thing is it's not all just loots and lustry. It's also a great platform for artists and things like that to be able to put out their extra content. I mean, I'll be honest, that's not who I subscribe to, but they exist.
Who does?
They exist.
They tried once to just be that, and they lost so much money. And then the wizards are like, you know what?
The wizards got involved.
We got to bring back the proper pink scrying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The lootity behind the loot.
The elves.
The elves. I mean, have you seen what the dark elves and dark gnomes are doing on there? I mean, that's some BDSM freakiness. It's good stuff. I'm just saying.
Whips, chains.
I'm just saying, classic elven content. It's pretty vanilla at this point. That's all I'm saying. Like, I'm pretty tired of seeing your elven chainmail bikinis. Like, I want to get past the bikinis. So that's where my interests lie. What's beyond an orc wearing an elven chainmail bikini? That's what I want to know. Sign up for Siren Stage today. I feel like these are going to get worse and worse the more we have to improvise our fake ads. We really do need the pre-written ones back.
Yeah, still got the time. Or the mind.
Or the care.
Or the care. Yeah.
So, time management. You did mention something earlier. I don't know how much we could talk about it, but shopping. How much do you do shopping in your games? How much do you play through shopping in your games?
I try to minimize it as much as I can, unless the player really wants to do some RP through it. Like it's as much of information gathering as it is shopping.
Sure.
I try to avoid the whole ace grocery list of magical bows in a new town kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I do try to limit it to like 10 minutes or 15 minutes per person. And usually it's only one person who wants to actually do it.
Sure.
If they don't give me like a direct answer, I want to go into town and find arrows. I'm like, yeah, you can find arrows at this place. That's fine. Just, knock some silver off your sheet.
In general, for me, I feel like the first time my party goes shopping, I do want to role play it, even though it's purposeless.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to role play it. Also, it depends what they're shopping for. Like, if they have 10 gold and they're trying to go to a magic shop, I want to role play it. Because I want to role play the fact that they can't afford anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or if it is a low magic place and they're going shopping, I want to role play it because, again, I get to set the precedence of where they are through role play. But after that first instance, yeah, just, what are you buying? Cool. Do you have money? Cool. Buy it.
Set up where they are, what the economy's like, what's even available in this place.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
And then as soon as it's established, you just, you're shopping. That's fine.
Yep.
And I'm also really lenient when they're buying common items. Like, yeah, whatever. You buy a bunch of beer. I get it. We're not going to have to go through the pricing of all of this.
Yeah.
You just give me a handful of silver.
Yeah. Just take 20 silver off your sheet. You're good. You got 2 whole flagons. Flagons, or what are the small barrels?
I don't know. Mini kegs.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, we don't need to go through the whole thing. If you have money, remove the money from your shit. It also just gets rid of the absolute time-wasting thing of making a persuasion check for each individual item on a shopping trip.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I get it. You have a charisma score.
Now, thankfully, I don't think I've had anyone try to actually do bartering like that.
I've only seen that in the campaign that we played with Nyx. And I think I was probably even a part of it because, like, I was new to D&D.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, it is really common, and it's like, well, if you have a persuasion check. But at that point, I would just go to my DM and be like, hey, for a general shopping trip, can I just give you a persuasion check? I'm going to be sitting there trying to bid and barter the whole time. So let me just give you a persuasion check, and you just account for that in pricing and just tell me how much I owe you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then it just gives the offer to the DM of like, we don't have to play through all of this, but I do want my character stats to come into play to at least some degree. But like bartering for every item because like, it's also just like, I forget what topic we were talking about, but like, just, take the loss when you have someone with a high charisma score and they go to buy something and then try to barter. If they succeed, they want that success to last for the rest of their shopping trip. But if they fail, they want to re-roll for every item. And it's like, pick one. Pick a style.
You gotta do it once. You want them to check, go to their shop.
Yeah. I forget what it was. What were we talking about? Or what? I forget how it came up in one of my games, but I was like, all right, I see what you're doing. I think it's really flavorful. Yes, I will allow you to roll again. I forget what it was. Oh, it was like a performance check to like put makeup on a character or something like that. And they absolutely fucked it. And they're like, cool, I'll use this spell slot or whatever and cast Prestidigitation and remove all of the makeup. And I was like, all right, I'll let you do that once and the reroll. And then the player argued with me and they were like, well, actually, I could do that as many. Oh, no, it's a cantrip. And they're like, well, it's a cantrip, so I could do that as many times as I want. And it's like, yeah, but 1, that's a waste of time. 2, easy explanation here. You got a 3 on your performance check. Whether you are not good at makeup or you are just having an off day, a 3 is what you are capable of today. I don't care how many times you press a digitation. A 3 is what's being applied to this character. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, come on. Also, it's like, as much as I want to talk about the just take the loss thing, we've talked that to death. But also, stop wasting the table's time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. Take the loss. It's fine.
Can I break this door open? Okay, go for it. No, a 4 won't cut it. Well, can I do it again? No.
No. Why? Because I don't want to sit here and watch you roll over and over again.
Rolling till successful.
Yeah.
At one point, you kind of just got to say, all right, if you really want to do this, it's going to take you like 45 minutes.
Oftentimes I do that. So it really depends on what the role is. But like, especially when you're like, okay, going back to shopping and travel and this conversation. You are in a town. You are looking for a bar with this sigil on it or whatever. Cool. make me an investigation check. You rolled a 3. Okay. I mean, it's a medium-sized city. So, like, as you wander around and ask people and get directions and, you know, you get pointed in the right area, but it's large. You have to get over there and then ask more people. You've never been here before. You're walking around. It takes you maybe 2 hours, but you do find the place. Like, even a 3 is a success. It's just you wasted a lot of time trying to do this thing.
Yeah.
That's what your roll means. A lot of times I do that where it's like a roll doesn't indicate success. It indicates time. Because time management for players is important as well. A lot of them, and oftentimes I will give them the caveat of like, okay, you rolled a 3. You're trying to find this place. How much time would you wander around? This is one of my favorite tools in a DM's arsenal. How much time would you spend doing this? And if in my head, I already decided 2 hours, and they're like, oh, 3 hours. I'm like, okay. Well, it actually doesn't take you 3 hours. Because while you wander around and you're a little bit lost and you ask for directions, to get to the right neighborhood and get on the right street and in front of the right building only takes you 2 hours, but 2 hours do go by. You found the tavern. Congratulations. And if they say 1 hour, I say, okay, 1 hour passes and
you don't find it.
Even though you're asking people, it sounds familiar to them, or they point you in a direction, but maybe they gave you bad directions. You don't find it in an hour. What do you want to do?
That's pretty much what I do.
That's the only way it's a failure is if you've determined, because you don't know how long it's going to take you to find something. So if you've determined that you're going to look for it for less time than your 3 achieves, then you don't find it.
Yeah, I kind of mix in Delta Green a little bit. It's like, oh, you want to find it right away? Roll for it. If you fail, it'll take you this amount of time. And then I roll a D100 to see how long into that set amount of time they'll actually get there. So, like, I'll just say, like, it's going to take them an hour at least. I'll roll a D100. They roll a 66. So,
Sure.
66% of the way into an hour, that's what they'll get. I'll take the difference of their failure to the DC, multiply that by 5, add that time on top of it. Hey, you got it there in an hour and 45 minutes.
Congratulations. I usually just set a predetermined amount of time in my head because I do allow for failure. And I don't tell my players that they are going to find it. I don't tell them that their roll was for success. I just, a predetermined amount of time, 2 hours. Would you look for 2 hours? Cool. Then you find it. No, then you don't find it. Move on with your day, or change method. You know what I mean? Like if you are, if you decided that you are walking around, but you don't want to talk to anybody because you don't want to give away your mission or whatever, you're incognito. It's like, okay, well, you only want to run around for an hour goes by, you don't find it. Do you want to change what you're doing? Yeah, I'm going to start asking people. Okay. You start asking people, they start giving you directions, and I'll maybe even pull some time off. And then you just find it. It's fine. Or I'll allow for another roll as well, which won't change the maximum amount of time being 2 hours, but maybe you'll find it sooner.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But it also just allows for not just rolling over and over again, because if you are constantly like, oh, you rolled a 3, you wander around and don't find it, what do you want to do? I want to ask people. Okay, you ask people, roll again. It's another 3. You wander around asking people, you don't find it, you get bad directions. Now what are you doing? Oh, I'm going to go to another tavern and see if they're, they know each other because, okay, sure, yeah, go talk to them. Make another check.
Mr. DM, he failed, but can I also roll?
Yeah.
Oh, I failed too. Can he also, can party member number 3 also roll?
So common. I honestly don't care at this point. If it's something that I genuinely don't give a fuck about, but like should be rolled for in general, I'll just be like, hey, everybody give me a roll before anybody even asks. I
then
don't
they
care.
all fail.
Especially if there's like insight things that I want someone to do. Like if there's a situation where I'm like, oh, this is this guy's secretly a vampire, and I want them to know it. And just be like, oh yeah, everybody give me a insight check. Why? Just give me an insight check. Everybody rolls. And then oftentimes also just like, DM petting, whatever the highest roll was, as long as it's not ridiculously low. If everybody rolls sub 5s, then they don't get it. But like everybody rolls sub 5s, one person rolls an 11, which is not incredibly high, but it's like, oh, Gray, you do notice. Because I want you to notice. But I also want you to feel like you earned it somehow.
Yeah. I get a lot of those in my games.
Yeah.
Because I use that DC 21 with the score as your modifier. And they'll all roll like sub 15 somehow. And no one has lower than 10 wisdom, so.
Damn, I didn't think about that, but those systems where, you do like reverse math to beat a specific number, there's no way to pad that anymore.
Well, I mean, I pad it on my side. I'm like, oh yeah, I was going to give you a +2 to that anyway. You're good. You did it. Congratulations. So sometimes that happens.
That is something I like about DCs, is that nobody ever knows what a DC is, because that's a DM's job.
Mm-hmm.
So like, let's say, sometimes if it's a meaningless combat, like who fucking cares about this combat? Like I want it to be fun, but I know my players are going to win. And then they start rolling. Like oftentimes the AC for the creature, whatever it is, because I homebrew a lot of creatures anyways, so they don't know. But if it's something dumb, you know what I mean? That's not supposed to be important. It's a giant, like, I don't know, animated intelligent worm that came out of nowhere. Roar! It's a worm. Who cares? As soon as they start hacking at it, it's kind of, in my mind, I'm like, whatever someone rolls that's higher than 11, that's an AC. That's the AC of it. It's like 18. Does that hit? Yeah, that hits. And then like as soon as they get closer and closer, and I'm like, at a certain point, I'll just be like, they'll roll a 13 or a 14. I'll be like, ooh, meat speeds. It just never had an AC.
The AC was made up.
Look, if you roll well, you hit it. If you don't roll well, you don't hit it. And that's what matters in this specific combat, because this creature is not important.
Yeah, then I run into a problem in those scenarios like, oh shit, that probably should have been a critical roll. They're going to catch on to my shit.
Yeah. That's the same thing again in unimportant combats. It's like, what's the health? And I'm like, it has enough health for this to be exciting. And then as soon as it's like, okay, they've gotten a couple of good hits in finally.
It's like, oh, they're hitting, but they're not doing damage. It's dead.
Yeah.
It's dead.
No. For me, it's not. It's dead because I know it's D&D and what everybody expects. So it's real easy to just like kind of track how much damage they're doing and how fun it is. And when it feels like it's kind of like crescendoing, you know what I mean? Like it's like, we got 3 big hits in a row and we're feeling really good. And it's like, hey, it's bloodied. For combats that don't matter, you know what I mean? Like combats where you know your players are gonna win.
It's like there's no way they can fail this combat.
Yeah.
At least throw some spice on it.
Yeah,
make them feel important.
Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta make your players feel important.
Yeah. Sometimes it takes 15 minutes for them to feel important. Sometimes it feels like an hour.
Yeah.
Gotta make them feel important.
It's another thing about time management when you accidentally write an absolute like meat sponge or something, right? And then a combat's like, this is taking too fucking long. This is a boring combat. It wasn't meant to be, but sometimes it just unfolds that way in D&D. So it's like, this is a boring combat. You know what? For now on, I've decided that my creature was rolling low. And now it is rolling higher and it does more damage, but also it's almost dead. Let's get out of here, Time management. Let's move on already.
So DMs never fudge anything, guys.
Fucking every DM fudges everything. You want to know the DM that doesn't fudge things? Is the DM that constantly TPKs their party. That's the DM that doesn't fudge thing. Because, like, I don't care if you're talking about new players or veterans. Players often. And I'm including our table. And I'm including me as a player. Players are dumb and make dumb decisions. Also, like a lot of D&D combat just comes down to hacking and slashing. A lot of DMs try their damnedest to make a very interesting combat, and then it ends up filtering down to hacking and slashing. And one, that's boring and a waste of time. And two, like, sometimes you'll be doing, like, sometimes your players just won't be suited for something. And sometimes your players will just be having bad rolls. And if you don't pad, if you don't fudge, then, like, yeah, this unimportant combat that's happening in the woods between towns outside of a story, not even on a side quest, just on a walk through the woods. And it's like, really? You're going to end your campaign on this one? No, you're just going to let your players win. That's what's going to happen. It doesn't matter if they're rolling low.
Or it could be really interesting when they make new characters and find all these people dead in the middle of the woods.
Depends on your party. It depends on the story that you're trying to tell.
Yeah.
I mean, like, especially in your world or your campaigns, oftentimes they're very freeform campaigns. And yeah, in my opinion, in a freeform campaign, fucking kill your players all the time. Who cares?
Yeah, I can't wait for one of my freeform campaigns to run into a place that they've been before.
Yeah. Lovely.
Yeah.
Where else can you think of? Like, we talked about shopping time, travel time, things like that. Where else does time often get wasted?
I mean, combats is a big one.
Combat's I almost always write low health, high damage enemies just so that combat's faster.
Yeah, that is a 2E thing, second edition AD&D thing, where things have lower HP and just put out more damage.
Yep.
So everything feels a little bit more breakneck, and combat tends to be a little bit faster when everyone can crit a lot easier than they can in 5th edition.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it makes things speed up. Sometimes it gives people decision paralysis, knowing that they can maybe lose a limb.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it makes it more interesting when you know there's only going to be 2 or 3 rounds of combat. What are you going to do in those 2 or 3 rounds? The problem with that is it's not how D&D combat was built, and all of a sudden your mages are too powerful.
Yeah.
Because your fighters out there doing like a D12 of damage or whatever.
Doing 2 D12s of damage in a round. One misses, the other one hits. He does 6 damage maybe.
Yeah, and then your wizard comes out and does
Fireball.
like fucking 10 D6 or something like that. And it's like, wow, who had a better round?
Well, I mean, that's how the game was designed. The wizard is supposed to do that.
Yeah, but it's also designed for the longer combat as well.
Well,
I
sure.
think it's like a leftover thing of like wargaming, to be honest, where like I think it's supposed to be this long chess match. But if you limit it only to like 1 to 3 rounds, because like fighters don't run out of resources. So in the long run, they do average the same amount of damage.
Well, the resources is their HP.
Yeah.
And then
But my point is that in the
the
long
wizard's
run,
resources is their spell slots.
but the spell slots run out.
Yeah.
Whereas-
so does the HP, but you just got to throw more things at them.
Yeah.
They could hit those 5 guys with a fireball. There's a new 5 guys.
I just when you reduce the amount of rounds so heavily, marshals become pretty weak.
Yeah, that's true.
Because like the marshal has full health, but also only did like 3 rounds of damage or something, and then like the wizard realistically single-handedly killed this, and it's going to be that every time.
Well, yeah, but in like a late game scenario, the marshals, as long as they're still alive, they're gonna be out. They're gonna still be able to do stuff, while the wizard's gonna have to fall back to shooting people with a crossbow. So
Yeah, when they run out of resources.
Yeah.
But if you do short rounds, they don't run out of resources. That's kind of my point, is that you don't run out of spell slots if you only have 3 rounds of combat and 1 combat a day. You just don't run out.
that's why I have more than 1 combat a day. You gotta make them think about how much ammo they're
I
spending.
have 1 combat like every 6 months. I really just run role-playing games, to be honest.
Yeah.
There's not much combat in my games.
Sometimes I try doing that too, but sometimes there's some people that need to die.
I don't mind that. Oftentimes I feel like I just do like this is patting myself on the back, but I feel like I do the role play so well that people try and avoid combat because they care about what's going on. You know what I mean? And then I have my players sitting there itching for combat, but also making the decision not to get into combat. And then 6 months go by. They're like, we haven't fought anything in a long time.
Well, because you guys keep talking to everyone instead.
Yeah. You ever thought about talking with your fists? Lovely. Well, also just like, you know where's a good place to find combat in a more serious campaign? Side quests.
Yeah, that's usually what they're there for.
Yeah, like your guns and gangs, you're doing all of these like really important, investigations and whatever, and trying to find out where they are and blah 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 blah. But also, your whole table's itching for a fight. Cool, let's go do this train job for some money.
Yeah. I think it took us like, how long did it take us to actually fight someone that we were supposed to like kill? It took us till Mom Bros. I'm not sure how far into the game that was.
No, it wasn't Mom Bros. It was when Shara got caught and killed. And then that fight, because Shara killed them,
well, just before Mom
that
Bros.
came to you guys as a fight instead of a conversation. But yes, it was just before Mom Bros. It was like easily 7 months into the campaign before you killed someone important. But the campaign was designed for that, to be honest.
Yeah.
It was designed to be free-form side quests until you guys found the bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
And then the moment you lose your anonymity, the war is on, and then probably the rest of the campaign was going to be like pretty common. Like battles were probably going to be common. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because you guys were never hunted.
Yeah. We've been incognito.
In fact,
the
you were
entire
hunted
time.
once and got caught. Shara.
That's right. Yeah. And that wasn't even supposed to come to blows.
No, that was supposed to be a conversation.
Yeah.
There was just so much great coincidence. Love it. Yeah. I mean, I feel like we talked about time management as much as I want to talk about time management. I don't feel like we gave anybody any good advice or anything, but
I mean, we've managed our time reasonably, I think.
yeah. It's good time management, a short podcast.
And we're moving on when the, things aren't looking like they're going in the direction that we want.
Actually, I want to go shopping. All right. Anything else you want to say on time management?
I mean, I guess a lot of my time management things are more I don't even call them esoteric.
Good,
Like-
because I don't know what that word means.
Unique, strange.
No, we're moving on because you wouldn't call it that, so don't teach me.
Well, fuck you.
I choose to remain to have no literation skills.
Like long-term time management.
Mm-hmm.
Or like downtime time management.
Yeah, I worked really hard on downtime rules so that I could do that in a more efficient way. And then I found that the one time I hit downtime, the one game that I'm allowed to do downtime in, because my players will do downtime,
Mm-hmm.
they want to play through it and RP through it. I don't mind. I genuinely don't mind. It is fun, but yeah. It's also like, I don't know, that's a weird thing about people paying you is for downtime. Because like the downtime's important, but also are we just going to be doing rolls all session? And how many sessions are we doing that for?
I've only had that problem really once, and it was in my last long form campaign. And it's like, okay, so you guys are gonna go talk to this person at this place at this specific time. That's a week from now. Are you guys gonna be doing anything in the meantime? And so like one guy wants to go and do this thing at this place over here. One guy wants to go do this thing at this place over here. One guy wants to do a little shopping. It's like, okay, that'd probably take about a day of your guys' time. What about the rest of it? Crickets.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, are you sure you guys don't want to do anything else before you skip ahead? And the problem that I have is knowing when, like, because to me, I think downtime is super important.
Yeah.
I think handling things during downtime is something that everyone should be doing.
Yeah.
Like when I think of like G&G, we did a lot of downtime in G&G, and a lot of that was either going into town and making ourselves present or earning some small
Earning money.
bills here and there.
earning money and establishing a non like a good reputation.
Mm-hmm.
Like a non-criminal reputation. Like, oh, these are people that come into town and work every day.
Yeah, but like we also in a month we're gonna go do this big thing.
Yeah.
I was like, so for me as a GM, I have a problem sort of balancing that. Hey, players, is there anything you want to take care of before we skip ahead? And all that stuff is, we're leaving that behind. So I have that problem.
I should send you my my homebrew rules on downtime activities.
Please do.
Because I think the neatest one in them is like there's obviously crafting. First of all, I have separated crafting and enchanting.
Mm-hmm.
So like to craft a magical item, you don't craft a magical item. You craft an item or buy an item or steal an item. You obtain an item and then you enchant it. So I have rules based on that. And then, but the one that I think is more interesting is like training. So like being able to gain proficiencies and whatnot, that feels valuable. So like in that situation of like your group having a month or whatever, you could have them make rolls or just have them roll and multiply it. I was thinking in my head, one thing that I might do to speed up, let's say you have 6 days. Okay, give me 2 rolls. 3 of them are going to be the first roll. 3 of them are going to be the second roll. That way it's like, it's not rolling with advantage, but it's allowing for at least, they didn't fuck the whole week because they rolled low once. You know what I mean? So it's like advantage for half the week,
Mm-hmm.
And then just use that as a multiplier. But the way that my crafting and training rules works is you have a set goal. So there's like a unit goal. So for me, say it's, I think, learning to use, so training weapons, right? If you want weapon proficiencies, you need to be proficient in 3 weapons, I believe. And then you become proficient in that weapon class. So like say ranged martial weapons. If you get 3 ranged martial weapons, then you become proficient in martial weapons or ranged martial weapons. But to get one of those, so you want to start training with a crossbow. You don't have proficiency in it. So you train with the crossbow. Every day you can make a roll. I think in this case, I would make it an attack roll, I guess, with the crossbow. And because you're not proficient, you don't get to add your proficiency or anything like that, but you get to do a roll. So you get a 17. That is 17 points towards your goal. I believe my goal for like weapons training is 600. So like multiply that by 30 if you're doing a week, it's pretty significant progress towards being able to use a crossbow. And I feel like if you trained how to use a crossbow every single day for 8 hours a day for a month, yeah, you'd probably be pretty proficient in it. Also, my rules are intentionally less strict for crafting than 5e. I feel like 5e's rules make sense to a degree, but also no one's ever going to do that. Like if it takes me a year to be able to craft plate mail, I'm just never going to craft plate mail. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Are those are from the Xanathar's guide, right?
Or is that Xanathar's expanded upon it.
Okay.
So mine are a combination of looking at 2014, 2024, and Xanathar collectively. And then I have rules for like for training something. You can train with someone like a trainer, and the only thing that marks a trainer is for them to have a proficiency level higher than yours. So, and you can only train with a trainer because you get a bonus for training with a trainer. You can only train with a trainer up to their proficiency level. So say I am proficient in long swords, I can train you up to proficiency with long swords. Say I am an expert in stealth, I can train you up to expert in stealth. And as long as you are training that with me, my time is taken too. So you're eating both of our times, but getting to add that to your rolls.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, training is a great use of downtime. Time management for that, to bring it back to the topic, is a little bit difficult because, like you said, you have one side of the coin where people are like, oh, we have a month to kill. What if we do nothing?
Mm-hmm.
And then the month goes by. But then as soon as you give them something to do, and then it starts eating session time of them trying to do those things. Like,
Yeah, we started a session off planning on going and fighting this guy, ambushing this guy, and now we're doing everything but ambushing this guy.
Yeah. Yeah. And you kind of want to, downtime activities, I feel like you kind of want to burn through them quickly. Like, you don't want to spend more than 10 minutes on the party, on the table, on downtime activities, if you could help it.
Yeah.
I've genuinely spent like 2 sessions doing downtime activities at this point because they want to play it.
Yeah. It's like, I like how Delta Green has its downtime, where it's all kind of just like, I'm doing this thing, okay, roll for it. But I'm not sure if you could really do that in a more Dungeons and Dragons-esque game.
I think you can. I think you just have to...
Well, because roleplay is more likely to come out of things, or a desire for roleplay.
A desire for role. Well, I think it would, honestly. I'm kind of excited to see it. I'm really hoping, do not cultivate this, but I'm really hoping that our characters in our Delta Green system exploration live, and that we get to bring those same characters into the higher level game that we're going to run for the second game, because I really want to do the downtime stuff, because I want to play through it. Like, you tell me something happens with
if we're
my
running
wife or
a
something.
proper campaign, I love the way that you set everything up for your character. Like, I would totally do like proper roleplay on a proper campaign with that character, because it's just so...
Because it's fun.
Yeah, it's funny. It's wild. It's like it's an 80s movie character, and I just love that. Like, I would... time management would be horrible, because I would just...
Because you would want to roleplay through it.
Yeah, the downtime vigilant would just eat through the entire session.
Oh, God. We're so bad for wanting to just roleplay everything. My Saturday campaign is like that, and we joke about it all the time, where it's like we just roleplay the whole time.
That's the worst thing when it comes to time management, because you don't really want to stop that roleplay.
My opinion...
It's like 80% of the game.
I rather play in a campaign like that fizzles out than complete a campaign that doesn't have it.
Yeah. Same.
I honestly don't... This is me being an extremist, because these opinions are obviously not true. But like, I don't give a fuck about the story. I don't care about finishing it. I just like living in the world. Like, we've been talking about Tolkien a lot recently, and it's like, yeah, like, the story's fantastic, but what I like the most about Tolkien is just being in the world. When reading through the books, when reading through the Lord of the Rings, I like Middle Earth. You know what I mean? And whenever we play any of our games together, I just like being there. Like, we spent a whole session in Delta Green in our system exploration at a diner outside of an alley that had you know what I mean? Like, but it was fun. I was having a good time.
Yeah.
Like, I rather just live in the world. For me, that's the whole joy of TTRPGs, is just to exist in the world. So like, I actually don't value a DM with very strong time management skills. I don't care, because I like being at the table and just role playing the whole time.
You heard it here, folks. Sov says time management. Fuck it.
Yeah, you know what? The moral of this topic is
everything that we said in this episode. Just forget about it.
Fuck all of it. The moral of the story is time management's bullshit. Lend your players every moment of session time. Play 12-hour sessions. Live in the world. Don't move the story along. Who cares about any of it? Go shopping.
And that's
Have a good time. You know what you get when you go shopping? This is really DM dependent. But every DM that I play with is always really interesting to hear them do voices. And if you do a whole shopping session, that's like 6 different voices you get to hear your DM do. New ones.
Yeah, 40 minutes of Sov being a old German guy making a denim poncho for Nyx.
How fun was that, though? You know what I mean? Like, why would you want to, like, if you were going to nix something from that campaign, why would you want to cut it?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it was great, and this will show everybody why it takes us 5 to 6 hours to record a 2.5 hour show. Because we're bad at time management. We don't like it.
It's not even that we're bad at it. We don't like it. We don't want to manage time. We want the fucked up time management.
Everything in the moment.
Everything in the moment. Do it on the day. All right. Well, thank you for listening to the Take the Damage podcast by Unfortunate Ones as we waste time talking about time management. I'm Sov. You can find me over at startplaying.games. I run games professionally, so if you're ever interested, you're more than welcome to reach out, join any of my games, or make a custom request. I love custom requests. I love world building. I love the creative process of starting a new campaign, so more than welcome.
I'm Greythorn. I run games sometimes, usually when I have time for it. Someday, I hope. You could find those on either Twitch live, or you could find them on my YouTube, which I archive all my games that I play. I should be playing a game sometime soon, maybe after QuakeCon is over. I'm not going to QuakeCon, but my player is, so.
Oh, okay.
And then after the whole leveling up in World of Warcraft business is finished, Mr. Pandaria.
Love it. All right. Thanks for listening.